Hello, welcome once again, friends. Welcome once again. Okay, this afternoon's topic is not defiled by a woman. Not defiled by a woman. And I'll be reading from some notes that I put together. Okay, woman in the Bible is a symbol for a church. Revelation 12, verse 1 is one of the many scriptures that tells us this. Okay, our theme scripture today is Revelation 14, verse 4. And I'll be reading from the King James Version Bible. So let's read. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the firstfruit unto God, unto the Lamb. And exactly who are these? That has all these descriptions, these characteristics. Okay, let's read verse 3. Let's back up to verse 3. And they sung, and I read, and they sung as it were a new song before the throne and before the four beasts and the elders. And no man learned that song but the 144 and 4,000, which were redeemed from the earth. Okay, so here we read according to the word that one of the main characteristics of the 144,000, they were defiled by a woman, meaning they did not join the ecumenical movement of the churches coming together under one umbrella, which is being fulfilled now, today, even as I speak. This is not God's purpose for his covenant people to form an alliance with the fallen churches. His word says we must be separate, a peculiar people. 1 Peter 2 verse 9. You could read that in your own time. Therefore, this ecumenical alliance with all the churches in the world coming under one umbrella is not of God, but rather the ideology of man, even the man of sin, the papacy. But when they cry peace, then sudden destruction cometh. Okay, now let's go to some other verses in the same context. First verses are Matthew 37 and 38. Matthew 24, 37, verses 37 and 38. I read 37. But the days of Noah were so shall also, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Okay. 38. For as in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. Okay, remember, they were marrying and giving in marriage. We're going to step away from this verse and also remember, so it was in the days of Noah, so it shall be in the end. Okay. So this marrying and giving in the marriage, which is also a symbol for ecumenism. But as I said, let's leave this verse for now and go to Genesis 6 verses 1 through to 9 to see what was taking place during the time leading up to the flood, so we can know what it will take place now leading up to the second coming, and we compare. Okay, verse 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, verse 2, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Okay, pause. These sons of God were the descendants of Seth, the faithful ones, those who worship God. They were called the sons of God, just like today. We who are faithful are called sons and daughters of God. The verse went on to say, they took them wives from amongst the daughters of men. Those were worldlings. Just as Matthew 24:38 says, symbolically, they who were God's people form an alliance in ecumenism or a covenant with those women fallen churches. And before I continue, many theologians today preach and teach that these sons of men, these sons of God rather, are angels, and these daughters of men are earthly people that came together and copulate and had giants, children, offsprings. That's a myth. That's a myth, brothers and sisters. Angels don't copulate with earthly people. As a matter of fact, I don't recall ever seeing a direct quote. I can't recall seeing a direct quote where angels are called sons of God. No, I can't recall that direct quote. But I know that us who are faithful are called sons and daughters of God. Anyway, moving along. Let's continue reading to see what happened next. Verse 3. And the Lord said, My spirit shall not always thrive with man, for that he also is flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Okay, it grieved the heart of God. After these covenants, ecumenism, were formed, God was displeased. Verse 4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them, the same became mighty, men which were of old, men of renown. Okay, giants were born, but giants are a symbol for sin. David slew Goliath with one stone. Stone is a symbol for the 144,000. And the giant is a symbol for sin. For a second witness, let's read Daniel 2, verse 34. And I read, Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. The stone is God's kingdom, the remnant, the 144,000. It was cut out without hands. That means they were cut out of the remnant out of the remnant. And it will smash the great image on his feet, breaking it to pieces, this great giant. And this image consists of Satan's kingdom until the second coming. And of course, once it's Satan's kingdoms, this image represents the man of sin, his image, which is sin. Okay, so back to verse 4. So after this ecumenical movement, walk with me, after this ecumenical movement between God's sons and the daughters of men, this got out of control. Verse 5. And I read, And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart were only evil continually. That was proof that things got worse. Okay, verse 6. And it repented the Lord that he made man on the earth, and it grieved him at his heart. Serious. Pause again. So after the ecumenical movement, walk with me. We're going through the steps. So after the ecumenical movement, 1, sin became even more rampant, that God himself repented that he made man on the earth, and it grieved him to his heart. 2, so ecumenical movement, grieving of God's heart. 2 steps. Okay, let's continue. Verse 4. And the Lord said, I will destroy man, whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast, and the creeping thing, and the fowls of the air. For it repenteth me that I have made them. Okay, so when we see this ecumenical movement that is being fulfilled today, we know that the second coming of Christ is near. We go to, this is the third step. So we have the ecumenical movement, then it grieved God to his heart, and then destruction. Okay. We know that the second coming of Jesus Christ is near. when this earth and all its inhabitants will be destroyed. Those who are unrighteous, of course. So continuing on, verse 8, but Noah found grace in the eyes of the Lord. Verse 9, these are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generations, and Noah walked with God. Noah, including his family, were a total of 8 out of millions of people who perished in the flood. Fast forward to our time. Okay, this total of 8 represents 144,000 that will be saved alive during the 7 last plagues. So it was in the beginning, in the days of Noah, eating and drinking and marrying and giving into marriage. Matthew 24 verse 38. So it will be repeated at the end. Even now, this very moment, because this alliance has been going on now, ecumenism, which will shortly be followed by the second coming of Christ. Okay, friends, I pray that someone received the light on this topic for this afternoon. But if you're still in doubt, please take it to the Lord in prayer. Don't forget to like and share the video with a friend. You may also leave a comment at the bottom. Okay, friends.